everyone, welcome back to the Log 360 workshop series. This is the second episode where we are going to be discussing performing in-depth network device auditing. My name is Niyati and I am a product specialist with the IT security solutions team here at ManageEngine. So before we go on, we had a bit of a video issue yesterday. I would just like to ensure that everyone is able to see my shared screen. So if there are any issues, do let us know on the live chat so that we can fix that for you. Okay then, so for those of you who are joining us today, in yesterday's workshop, we basically discussed what Log 360 is. I gave you all an overview of the product. I explained the two main components that make up the product, which are ADAudit Plus and EventLog Analyzer. So we looked at some of its features and how this solution can be used in threat mitigation. So as I said, Log 360 is basically a comprehensive SIEM solution for your organization's network, and the ADAudit Plus component provides an in-depth overview of an in-depth look at your AD environment, and EventLog Analyzer helps you monitor and audit the rest of your network components, such as network devices, which is the main focus of today's workshop. So to start off today's workshop, I'd like to discuss the importance of auditing your network devices. So to talk about what network devices exactly are, network devices are those devices that help you regulate and direct your network traffic. So this would include your routers and switches. So these are the devices which direct the traffic to the right points of the network, as well as firewalls and intrusion detection and prevention systems, which are security devices and help and block any unwanted traffic. So they are basically the first line of defense on any network. So they control the access to your network and they check for any malicious traffic and block them. So what exactly can a solution like Log 360 help you achieve over here? So it's always important to know what is happening at the borderline of your network. For one, it helps you understand your network. You get to find out about the flow of traffic in and out of the network, or any details about people or devices that are attempting access to your network. Or from firewalls and IDS and IPS devices, you can even find out the types of attacks that are being attempted on your network. So once you have this kind of information, it helps to better prepare you to improve your network security. The knowledge you gain about your network forms the input you need to strengthen your network security. So say you may discover that a certain source IP address is trying to access your network. You can immediately add it to a blanket blacklist so that if you discover any other weak points in your network or loopholes in your network security, you're able to take corrective action. So thereby you make your network all that much more stronger and better prepared to meet any new threats. Now the thing is, all of these network devices generate millions of logs called syslogs, so it's pretty tough to audit them manually. Furthermore, most of these devices don't come with inbuilt reporting mechanisms. So what you really need is a central point from which you can easily audit these logs. So that is why a tool like Log 360 is an essential addition to your network monitoring toolkit. So it's the EventLog Analyzer component of Log 360 which helps you audit your network devices. The first step in auditing them, of course, is adding these devices to the product so that Log 360 or the EventLog Analyzer component can monitor these devices and their logs. So you do this by using the automatic syslog network discovery feature on EventLog Analyzer. So I'll be showing you the feature in a minute. So how this feature works is that it automatically scans a given range of IP addresses and discovers all the syslog devices within that IP range. So let me just go over to the product and show you how this works. So this is the EventLog Analyzer component. When you'd like to add a syslog device, you can simply go over to the Add button on the top right here and click on Add Device. The default window that opens up first is for adding Windows devices, but that's not the focus right now. We would like to add syslog devices, which basically includes all your network devices such as your routers and switches and firewalls and so on. So come over to the syslog devices tab and click on Add Devices. So of course, if you know the name or the IP address of your device, you can immediately just type it in over here. But of course, that's a little inconvenient, especially when say you'd like to add maybe 10 or 20 devices. So all you have to do is click on Discover and Add. And as I said, you have to mention the starting and ending IP address range, starting and ending IP addresses for the range within which you'd like to discover devices and add them to the product. Of course, you can just provide the starting and ending IP address, or you can provide it as a CIDR range. So once you provide the details, click on Next and select an SNMP credential with which you would like to perform the scan. So I'm going to be using the default public credential and click on scan. So as you can see, the status of the scan is over here. There are about 256 IP addresses being scanned, and within just a few seconds, you can see the list of devices being populated over here. And that's about it. So all you have to do once you have this list is simply click on the devices that you would like to add from this list and just click on Add Devices, and they're added for monitoring. Of course, sometimes you would have to perform some configuration steps on the device end as well. That is a little bit beyond the scope of this workshop, but the steps are covered extensively in our head documentation. Or if you have any queries, you can always shoot us an email and we'll help you set up your devices. But this is basically how you add it on the product. It's a very simple automatic discovery process, and they're instantly set up over here. So now the product has added these devices. It starts monitoring these devices for their logs in real time and starts generating predefined reports for you. So let's talk a little bit about these predefined reports. So as I said, we have reports for your routers, switches, firewalls, and even your IDS and IPS devices. But basically, these reports fall under these categories that I have shown here on the screen. So when it comes to device activity, you can get details about the traffic that is passing through the devices. You can get details about system events. And of course, the most important thing is you can monitor privileged user activity. So this is really important because a small change on your firewall, let's say a small rule change, could actually result in a big loophole which allows an attacker to get into your network. So it's very important to monitor user activity as well. So the types of user activity would be device logons, account changes such as user accounts that are added or deleted, configuration changes, rules that are added and changed, and so on. So again, let me just show you where you can find these reports on the product. So in the reports tab, You have several tabs over here for the various vendors. So if you click on network devices, you will have all the reports available for your Cisco devices, which is one of the most popular vendors, of course. So as I said, you have traffic reports. So you can look at the traffic reports under accepted connections, denied connections, or traffic report by protocol. So here are all the connections that have been allowed. And you can also classify this information based on source, destination, or based on the protocol. So you can see there's a lot you can do. You can even look at the trend report and see how many connections were allowed on which day and so on. So all of this, as I said, helps build your understanding of the traffic on your network. Next, system events. So you can even monitor hardware level events such as a port that is down or the fan status, memory allocation failure. So there are a lot of reports that we have provided over here. And the user activity. So there's logons. You can monitor logons, failed logons, and even types of logons such as SSH logons or VPN logons. So you can monitor VPN logons to your network as well using these device reports, which is very useful because you get to know about those who are connecting remotely to your network. So you can monitor rules that are changed on your firewalls. You can monitor firewall threats. So like I said, you can always explore these reports on your own and see the vast number of reports that we have. There are hundreds, so I can't show each of them to you, but you are always welcome to try these out on your own. Go through the reports and see which ones would be useful to you. So, as I said, the Network Devices tab gives you the details of Cisco devices, but of course, we also provide out of the box predefined reports for various other popular vendors such as Checkpoint, WatchGuard, Sophos, NetScreen, Juniper, Fortinet, SonicWall, and Palo Alto. So you have all these reports available to you over here as well. So you can always go through these reports and see which ones you'd like. So I'll just try to provide a simple example to kind of put all of this together for you. So let's say you have a really important firewall or rather really critical server within your network and it's being guarded by a specific firewall. So you want to monitor activity or traffic passing through this firewall to ensure that there are no unwanted connections to this critical server of yours. Now, there are two ways that you can set up monitoring. So, one way is a preemptive method. So, you can add an alert. So, on EventLog Analyzer, we provide you real-time alerts. Of course, we have it in ADAudit Plus as well. So, Log 360 provides you real-time alerts, which you can set up for the conditions that you require and customize it as is suitable to your business environment, and you can get alerted in real time via email or SMS about any untoward events happening on your network. So, if you'd like to add an alert, simply go over to the Alerts tab of the product and click on Add Alert Profile. So, to add an alert, there are basically a few simple details that you need to provide. Of course, first you'd have to provide an alert profile name. So, let's say I would like to, so as I said, I'm trying to set up an alert to detect any untoward connections to the critical server. So I'm going to do this by monitoring my firewall for denied connections. So I'll just name it firewall denied connections, set the severity to high, and then you have to mention which device you want to apply this alert to. So I'm going to select the checkpoint firewall over here, and then you'd have to provide the alert criteria. So as I said, it's really simple. These all of these conditions are pretty much corresponding to the reports that we provide as well. So it's very intuitive and easy to understand. So I have provided the alert condition, and of course now I'd like to set up some advanced conditions as well. So uh, I wouldn't like to know when there's just a single denied connection, because this might be a random event. But let's say a row of denied connections occur within a short time span. Uh, this entire event would probably indicate that there's someone who's trying to breach the firewall and get through to the server. So I'd like to set a threshold limit for this event and say if there are 5 denied connections within, say, 10 minutes, then I'd like to be alerted to it. And of course, you can also provide a time range and specify when this alert needs to be applied. So if you want it to be active only during non-working hours, you can do that as well. And finally, you just have to specify uh, the notification details. So if you'd like an email, then you need to provide this specific email. Provide a subject line. And from this menu over here, you just need to select specific fields. So the subject line is going to include the alert name and the host name. So, and of course, you can select this from the to be included in the body content as well. So I'd like to know which IP address is trying to breach my network. I would like the log message. And that's about it. If you'd like to specify any additional notes, you can specify it under the add notes column. Or if you would like an SMS to be sent to you, you can specify the details here, similar to how I explained it for the email. And of course, there's also a third option, which is run programs. So if you can also design your own custom scripts, which can launch automatically as soon as this alert is raised. So if this happens at, say, 3 in the morning, you may not be immediately available to receive the alert and look into it. So you can always set up an automatic response by selecting the script file over here, passing on any necessary log details using the arguments field. So these are all the details that you need to specify when creating an alert. And after that, all you need to do is click on add alert profile, and then that's it, you're done. So as soon as you do this, the alert profile is active and you start receiving the alert anytime the conditions are matched. So as I said, this is a preemptive method. This is more of a preventive method where you're trying to stop an attack before it happens. But of course, there's also another angle to this. There may be some time when you'd like to come on to the EventLog Analyzer component and find out about any previous attacks that might have happened or that might have missed your note, might have escaped your notice. So this is the report auditing method. I already showed you some of the reports before. But let's say I'd now like to go through my reports and find out specifically if there were any attack attempts made on my firewall. So I can simply look at my denied connections report and I can see the list of all the denied connections that have happened in the specified time period. what I can do is also classify these by source by looking at the top denied connections based on source report. And I can see now that there is a specific IP address that has the most number of denied connections on my firewall. So now the next question that I would like to ask from my and ask and find out from my reports is whether this specific IP address was ever able to make it past the firewall and onto my server. So now I can simply copy this IP address, go over to my alert traffic report. So we also provide you an in-report search feature. So I'm just going to search for this specific IP address and see if it has ever been allowed. And see, now I know that this IP address, which has been attempting to breach my firewall, has not made it through the firewalls, has not actually made it through. So now I can be rest assured that that my firewall is secure and it's doing its job well. So like I said, these are a couple of ways. So you can also you can create your you can set up these use cases as you wish. You can ask any questions of these reports. We have hundreds of reports, as I said. You can set up alerts as you require, and you get to ensure that the security on all of your network devices across your network are airtight and they're completely secure. So that's about it for today's workshop. If you have any questions, do let us know on the live chat. And we'll meet again next week for the database auditing workshop. Thank you so much for listening in. If you have any questions, please let us know.